The Widow's Mite, 2024 Update. A report on the state of wealth in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Posted in March, 2025. Read the full report online, or browse our other reports on topics related to LDS Church finances, at thewidowsmite.org. Background. This report summarizes our updated estimates of church finances for 2024. All of the figures and estimates are carefully reconciled with published sources, links to which can all be found on our website. Contents of this update, with document hyperlinks in the full report found online. The Widow's Mite report seeks to increase basic understanding of LDS church finances. We provide analysis and context related to church wealth and advocate for greater financial transparency. Our methodology takes into account all public sources of financial data about the church. We reconcile and analyze that data using the most reasonable financial estimation methods, and share our findings in a format that is easy to understand. Project sources. Church-provided facts and statistics. Annual reports and government filings. Media coverage containing church-supplied data and quotes. Leaked documents, and please, do not send us confidential documents. Professional data tools. Web archives and numerous information aggregation sources. And prior studies of church finances. We have identified and evaluated hundreds of public sources. At year-end 2024, we estimate the LDS Church's investment reserves now stand at more than $200 billion. The midpoint of our model range puts the Church's total reserves at $206 billion. This is based on our detailed analysis of Ensign Peak's portfolio composition and performance, informed by both whistleblower documents and various church statements. We evaluate the Church's investment reserve portfolio by applying two methods. First, we track each asset class over time with market benchmark proxies. Second, as a simple range check, we multiply the reported 13F public equity assets by 3.2 to 3.8, mirroring the historic portfolio mix. Our analysis harmonizes well with historic data in whistleblower documents, as well as with limited disclosures found in regulated filings and court documents. The LDS Church's wealth reached a new high in 2024. We estimate the Church's total wealth increased by about $28 billion to roughly $293 billion. This estimate takes into account approximately $87 billion in operating assets, such as chapels, temples, and BYU campuses, and about $206 billion of investment reserves. ', 2024 estimated LDS Church inflows and outflows. See the appendix for estimated value ranges, sources, and a discussion of the methodology used to create this chart. For 2024, we estimate over $7 billion in donations of all types, and about $23.5 billion of profits from investments. Despite evidence of lower member activity rates, our analysis of published financial data concludes that major donation and expenditure categories all increased in the year. The Church's 2024 annual report, Caring for Those in Need, indicates further increases in humanitarian aid. Overall charitable giving grew by about 7%, a slower rate compared to the 33% increase in 2023. The Church targets a growing list of global humanitarian issues, and the slower growth in 2024 may represent some consolidation of efforts while it lays plans for the BYU Medical School. BYU Medical School. In July 2024, the LDS Church announced plans to create a medical school at Brigham Young University. According to a church statement, advancing the Church's global humanitarian impact will be a key focus area for the medical school. We believe BYU should be able to self-fund the new medical school, as it holds about $2 billion of investments in excess of endowment and pension assets. LDS Church Humanitarian Aid Timeline, 2000 to 2024. The LDS Church has increased humanitarian aid by more than 5 times since its finances became more visible to the general public. This outcome is laudable, and we anticipate more, based on the Church's public statements. Our analysis indicates the Church now allocates more than $500 million per year to global humanitarian relief efforts, up from less than $100 million in 2018. Investments dominate the LDS Church's financial picture. We evaluated sources and uses of church income, including investment income, on a rolling 5-year basis. A multi-year analysis smooths out market volatility, enabling greater clarity about historic financial policies and priorities. In the past decade, only about 1/3 of church income went into church operations. The other 2/3 of church income went into investments. Surge in announced LDS temple backlog. Since 2018, the Church's first presidency has announced an increasing number of newly planned temples around the world. At the end of 2024, the Church had an announced backlog of 165 temples, based on 367 total announced temples, compared with 202 dedicated temples. 51 temples were known to be in construction at year-end. Financial escape velocity, no built-in limit to the LDS Church's wealth accumulation. The Church's wealth appears to be growing far faster than its ability to deploy resources. What will the LDS Church do with unlimited money? In the past 5 years, church investment reserves increased by about $70 billion, whereas the Church added only about $8 billion in temple construction backlog and medium-term humanitarian aid commitments. What could LDS Church wealth look like in decades to come? If there is no significant use of the Church's investment reserves, we estimate the Church will be worth $1 trillion by 2043 to 2049, or about 1 generation. Note, 1 trillion is 1,000 billions. In the trillion-dollar scenario, roughly 83% of church assets would be investments while only 17% of church assets would be religious in nature. Church investments as a type of long-term endowment fund. The LDS Church's investment reserves are sufficient to fully fund church programs forever, even if donations stopped completely. By applying the same conservative endowment policy used at BYU, all church programs could be covered forever, reserves would grow to match inflation, and roughly $1.5 billion more could be given to help the poor and needy each year, while not $1 of donation would be needed from members again. Misconception: $200 billion isn't that much for a global church. $206 billion is roughly 30 years of LDS Church expenditures. American members following this example would pay off their home and debts, and then save $2.2 million before giving generously to help the poor. 30 years of expenditures is roughly 3 times more conservative than the top university endowments. Yale, Stanford, and Harvard each have about 8 to 10 years of reserves. Misconception: the LDS Church could end world hunger. Statistics imply about $125 billion per year is needed to end world hunger, but that is before taking into account complex geopolitical realities. The LDS Church is absolutely doing more to alleviate world hunger and can afford to do much more in the future. Since 2022, about 60% of the Church's cash expenditures on humanitarian aid have targeted hunger relief. Misconception: LDS missionary hours are counted in charitable aid. The math is clear that if missionary hours were counted in the tally of charitable service, the total would be much higher, at least 2 times higher, than the 6.6 million hours reported in 2024. Confusion likely exists because LDS Charities reported a metric called total assistance until 2019, which included the estimated value missionary service hours dedicated to disaster relief. Misconception: the LDS Church benefits from unique investment insights. In reality, although Ensign Peak does appear to have periods in which it beats the market, the fund's public stock portfolio lagged the market over the past 5 years by almost 8%. Statistical analysis according to Bloomberg Professional indicates that Ensign Peak would have earned $3 to $4 billion more if it simply bought the market index, exclusive of so-called sin and vice stocks that it avoids. Misconception: LDS members cleaning chapels is pointless penny pinching. If LDS members worldwide perform janitorial work for all chapels, we estimate the church saves $200 to $300 million per year, compared to the cost of professional cleaning. This is about 20 to 30% of the $1 billion spent to support BYU each year. In addition, members may feel a greater sense of ownership, leading them to take better care of chapels. Misconception: almost nothing is known about LDS church finances. An outspoken BYU professor suggests there are only a few knowable data points about church finances. He fails to mention numerous public disclosures which are reliable and relevant, including audited church financial statements in 5 countries, representing 4% of global membership. Audited BYU financial statements. Detailed federal filings related to church employee counts, benefits, and salaries. Actual construction costs for many temples. Detailed charitable and humanitarian aid reports. Ensign Peak whistleblower documents. And public data on tens of thousands of church-owned properties. Misconception: LDS temples cost $50 to $100 million each. Based on size and cost per area trends, we believe new LDS temples cost about $30 million on average, ranging lower or higher based on size and location. We currently apply a global average of about $1,100 per square foot for new temple construction. This is supported by recent trends in known construction costs in equivalent $2,024. Misconception: the SEC settlement. We have identified 9 common misconceptions about the settlement between the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission and Ensign Peak and the LDS Church. Included among these are dismissive assertions, for example, that the illegal practices resulted from bad legal advice, that forms were simply filled out incorrectly, that the Shell LLC structure is common practice, that the relevant laws are confusing, and that the SEC cease and desist order represents just one side of the story. Each of these 9 misconceptions are considered in context of available facts and data, along with links to important references, can be found at our website. The LDS Church purchased the Kirtland Temple. In March 2024, the church acquired the Kirtland Temple, historic Nauvoo buildings, and various manuscripts and artifacts from the Community of Christ, formerly known as the RLDS Church, for $192.5 million. Reported donations indicate net attrition in active members who tithe. Member donations in 5 countries, representing about 4% of global LDS church membership, have not kept up with inflation. From 2016 to 2023, the 7-year cumulative change in total reported members, household wage inflation and reported tithing and donations published on statutory financial statements, imply between 4% and 16% reductions in tithe-paying member households. Appendix. Notes to our inflow and outflow estimates. The Widow's Mite Report. All of the figures and data presented here are based on analysis of publicly available sources. See our webpage for links to all sources used, as well as our most recent studies related to LDS church finances.